Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. And today I'm going to rank the albums of John Lennon, my second favourite Beatle behind Paul McCartney. And I did a full ranking of Paul McCartney's albums, including Wings, last year, so I thought let's do John Lennon, and at some stage I'm sure I'll do George Harrison as well. However, I will not be doing Ringo Starr because I don't know all his albums. So 8 albums in total. Now I'm not including the Wedding album, or is it Life of the Lions, and 2 Virgins, because 1, they're not really albums, and 2, I've never heard them and I have no interest in hearing them at all. So 8 full albums, and 3 of them are actually John Lennon Yoko Ono albums, but we'll come to that in the ranking. So starting off at number 8, and it's from 1975. And it's rock and roll. Now, I am not a huge rock and roll fan, as in the Chuck Berrys, the Little Richards, and the original rock and rollers. It's never really appealed to me. Like, I did like Buddy Holly because he tended to be more melodic and they were more pop songs. But this here, I give it credit because he does change the arrangements quite a bit on some of those songs. But unfortunately, they're not very good. Now, this is not a disaster at all because it does have Stand By Me on it, which I really do like, and I love the version of Peggy Sue. And Slipping and Sliding is okay, but things like You Can't Catch Me, Beat Bop Balula, Do You Want to Dance is terrible actually, Ain't That a Shame, Bonnie Maroney, I've just no interest in it at all. And I think it's really overproduced as well, it's too cluttered, so it gets my number 8. And at number 7, I'm going to give it to this album, and there is a reason why it's so low, and it's Sometime in New York City. Now, this is one of those John and Yoko albums. I do think the songs are actually quite good, but I can't take some of the lyrics, especially the ones about Ireland, because it's a bit too close to home, and I just don't agree totally with what he's saying. But the songs themselves sound okay, even though they're a little bit overproduced. Woman is the N Word of the World, I think, is a fantastic song, and I think a lot of people read into that and take the wrong meaning out of it, but you can't say it. We're All Water, the Yoko Ono song, is absolutely brilliant. It's got a really good groove to it, although near the end she does go into her stuff which I just don't understand. And Born in a Prison, another Yoko Ono song, is very good. Now, the song that I do like is Sisters Oh Sisters. Now, Yoko Ono cannot sing, but she's not screaming this, she's having a go at singing, and she still cannot sing, but it is quaint and I do like it. New York City is a really good track, it's a really good rocker, I like it. Now, that's the sort of rock and roll I do like. It is based on like a Chuck Berry riff, but it does sound good. And John Sinclair goes on, especially with that Gotcha, 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 or whatever it is. And I don't really like it that much. The Luck of the Irish, don't like at all. And if you had the luck of the Irish, you'd be sorry and wish you were dead. If you had the luck of the Irish, you'd wish you were English instead. And then I think it sounds a little bit like, is it Peter Starstead? Where do you go to, my lovely? Wherever he sings, you wish you were English instead. Yes, you do. Ha ha ha. That sort of sounds, so I'll automatically think of that. But generally speaking, it's a political charged album which I'm not interested in. The songs are quite good, but I think it's extremely dated and it is slightly overproduced. So Sometime in New York City gets my number 7. At number 6, and a bit of a surprise, I thought I might have had this last, and it's Milk and Honey, and this is another John and Yoko album. And I think the John songs are really good off here. Like, I'm Stepping Out is a really decent John Lennon track. I Don't Want to Face It is my favourite song off this. I really like his vocals, especially whenever he goes into the higher register. Nobody Told Me is a really good little track, and Borrowed Time, if it had been worked on a little bit more, would have been a classic John Lennon song. Forgive Me My Little Flower Princess, not much of a song, but it's got a decent groove. And Grow Old With Me is a nice little song, but needs to be worked on. I do like the Yoko songs like Sleepless Night. Don't Be Scared is a bit silly, as is Oh Sanity. Your Hands is really good. It's one of the best tracks off this. And Let Me Count the Ways. It's not a bad album. And as I say, the Yoko ones were a bit of a surprise to me. I really did enjoy it. So Milk and Honey gets my number 6. That was the posthumous one from 1984. And at number 5 is Double Fantasy from 1980. And yes, I've been very critical of this in the past, thinking that this is Lennon by numbers and they're very uninspired songs. But they are good. I do like Just Like Starting Over. It's got a very 50s feel, but I do think it's very good. And Clean Up Time is not bad as well, although at the start I never liked it. I'm Losing You is very standard John Lennon. That could have sat on any of the first 3 albums, or first 2 albums. A Beautiful Boy, maybe a little bit overrated, but it's still nice. Dear Yoko, I think it's a great little track, but why must they always title it with her name in it? I think you should try and be a little bit more generic when it comes to the love songs. And Watching the Waves is a great track. I do like Yoko songs as well, like Kiss Kiss Kiss, which is great. Every Man Has a Woman Who Loves Him, I think is very good as well. And there's one here, I'm Your Angel, which sounds as if it could have been a Paul McCartney song, because it is that type of granny music, but I think it's really, really good. So yeah, a very decent album. It makes you wonder how he would have gone in the 80s, but you can only speculate. But still, I really do enjoy it. So Double Fantasy gets my number 5. Okay, number 4, and these are the big 4 on everybody's list, and I'm going with Walls and Bridges. And this has got 2 brilliant singles off it, Whatever Gets You Through the Night, which I really do like, although again slightly overproduced, and Number 9 Dream, one of his best ever songs. I really love the track Nobody Loves You When You're Down and Out. I think it's fantastic, as is Bless You is very, very good. What You Got is a really decent rocker. The opener, Going Down on Love, I think has got a really good groove to it. Steel and Glass is almost like a rewrite of How Do You Sleep, and I think it's good, but again, as I say, it's like a rewrite. Beef Jerky and Surprise Surprise, Sweet Bird of Paradox are the 2 least on this. And then there's a wee footering about with Yeah Yeah. It's a really good album, but doesn't quite make the top 3. And my number 3 is from 1971, and it is Imagine. And this is regarded by most people as his best album. Imagine's a great track. I really do like it. It has been overplayed, but I still enjoy it. Crippled Inside is really good fun. There's 2 songs I'm not keen on. It's So Hard, just too bluesy for me, and I Don't Want to Be a Soldier, although I do prefer it to It's So Hard. Give Me Some Truth is brilliant, and Oh My Love is one of his best ever. Now, How Do You Sleep, I do like the track, but I don't like the lyrics of it. I think he could have been a little bit more subtle at his dig at Paul McCartney. It's such a pity that it's just so bleeding obvious. And How, gorgeous song. And then we fall for Oh Yoko Again. Fantastic track, but why do you have to have Yoko in the name of the song? It is a great album. It is regarded as his best with some people, but it is my number 3. And at number 2 is the very first John Lennon solo album I owned, and it was Plastic Ono Band, and this was given to me by my brother, who had an extra copy because this one skipped, but it didn't. There was a little bit of dirt on it. Mother, great track. Hold On. Now, I love that song, Hold On John, because it's so laid back, a little bit like Look at Me, which is absolutely gorgeous as well. Love, beautiful track. God is the best song off this. Remember and I Found Out is very good, and Isolation is very good as well. The one track I'm not keen on is Well with all that screaming. There is a bit of screaming in this, and this is a very depressing album, but whenever you're in the mood for it, it's great. Working Class Hero I do like. I really like the Tin Machine version of that. It's so different, but still. So yeah, fantastic album, and yeah, it gets my number 2. And my number 1, and my favourite by a long way, this I think is brilliant, is Mind Games from 1973. I do think this is the most Beatle-esque of all his albums. The title track is brilliant, and then the little sort of rockabilly rock and roll of Tight As I think is fantastic as well. Azima Zen I really do like. One Day at a Time. The falsetto vocals a lot of people are not keen on. Love it, really do. Bring On the Lucy is one of those sort of protesty part of the people type songs, but I think it's a little bit more subtle than Part of the People. Intuition I think could have been a fantastic single, and I think it would have been a top 10 hit. Out the Blue, gorgeous, my all time favourite John Lennon solo track, and I really do like the backing vocals in that. I know John Heaton doesn't, but I do. I know, the most Beatlesque of all his tracks. You Are Here is simply stunning, really dreamy and lovely, and Meat City is a decent enough rocker. So for me, Mind Games from 1973 is John Lennon's best album. Okay, so that's my quick run through the 8 John Lennon albums. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.